Welcome into Minnesota Vikings Now, sponsored today by Mint Mobile. You might have heard of them, the cell phone plan owned by Ryan Reynolds. They're changing the game with plans as low as $15 a month, and it still runs on the largest 5G network. Looking to change over your cell phone plan, save some money due to inflation? Mint Mobile is the place to go. Head over mintmobile.com/chatsports. We've got training camp winners and some losers to get into. We begin with Andrew Booth, who was getting all of the hype early on at training camp as the Vikings have their off day today. Then the pads come on next week. Booth has been a big-time trash talker, which, for the record, I do love, by the way, and has mostly backed it up in camp as well against everybody except for maybe Justin Jefferson. Although he did pick off one pass against Kirk Cousins, and he was matched up on Jefferson, but beyond that, it's been Jefferson winning, but that's a different conversation. Booth looked great. The second-round pick out of Clemson was a star early on, looks like a key piece of your organization. Exactly what you want to hear if you're a Vikings fan on Andrew Booth coming into the early parts of camp. He's going to push very hard for a roster spot and playing time this year early on for Minnesota. Now, if you want more Vikings updates, folks, we are barely 40 subscribers away from the 5,000 mark. I want to get there as soon as possible so me, Mitchell Renz, everyone else here at Chat Sports can keep giving you guys more Vikings videos. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. It's youtube.com/Vikings today. You're watching on YouTube, so simply click that big red button right now. How about this? Back-to-back corners as training camp winners. Remember, no pads on, so you won't see many of the linemen making this list because, well, no pads on. But Dantzler's also fared pretty well so far this camp. He's made some nice plays and predominantly has been matched up with Adam Thielen. That is not an easy matchup whatsoever. Even as Thielen begins to age, he's still one of the premier corners or receivers in the NFL. Dantzler and Booth are fighting for the other outside starting spot, at least short term. I still think long term the goal is Dantzler and Booth are CB1, CB2 for you. But Patrick Peterson's been the one going up against Justin Jefferson. So for now, I think he's still cornerback one of this team. But a Dantzler-Booth battle hopefully is one of those, rising tide lifts all boats type of things where if the one guy plays well, the other one will step up and, respond, and it ends up both guys end up playing better from that standpoint. That at least is my goal for Minnesota. I think that's their goal as well. So as we sit right now, you can only pick one of these two guys for the short term. Who is it? Type in CD for Cam Dantzler or type in AB for Andrew Booth. This is going to be our pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Type in CD or AB right now. Let's talk Justin Jefferson, and this one's kind of like a duh, right? But Jefferson looks like the all-pro receiver that we all know he is. He's beaten everyone he faces. He's winning with speed, winning with the routes. He looks awesome. Really, nobody can cover him. He's been torching guys, which is what you want at training camp. He's an all-pro. Frankly, it would almost be more interesting if he wasn't wowing. Does that mean the corners are playing great or something's wrong? But he's being the best player on the team that he is. A couple of the receivers have made some nice splash plays. KJ Osborne, BC Johnson, Myron Mitchell. Also want to shout out Amir Smith-Marset. Smith-Marset and Booth have had some big-time jawing on that side, which, I think it's fun and I think is hopefully good for both players in the long run. No softies allowed. So name a training camp winner for me so far. Who is it? Is it Jefferson? Is it Booth? Is it somebody else I haven't mentioned? Drop a name or names for me in the comments section right now. Today's show, like I mentioned, is sponsored by Mint Mobile. They offer unlimited talk and text, high-speed data that runs on the largest 5G network, the ability to use a mobile hotspot, and their plans start as low as $15 a month. Start saving today with Mint Mobile. That way you can actually check in with your mother, something that I didn't do a great job before until I made the switch over to Mint Mobile, but she sees the video so she knows I'm alive. That's her welfare check for me in the end. But you should make the switch to Mint Mobile just like I did, if only to save some money, and you're not going to sacrifice any speed, coverage, or data when you make the switch, so what are you waiting for? Head over mintmobile.com/chatsports. Links in the comments and the description. And yes, you can keep your number and your cell phone if you so choose at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Happy to see this name on here, by the way. Johnny Mundt. He had a big-time play on day one. Contested catch up the middle over Lewis Seen. Pretty strong day overall. Tight ends coach Brian Angelicchio. I probably botched that last name, but I tried, Brian. Sorry. He's made some nice plays. That's a good sign as far as I'm concerned, because this team, I was worried about the tight end room entering camp, where Irv Smith was tight end 1, Munt's tight end 2, but didn't do much of anything last year or in his career. Ben Ellefson wasn't great. Late round pick Zach Davidson, Nick Muse. They signed Sean Byer recently. I was worried. If Mundt can be tight end 2, I will feel a lot better about that room. Let's go to maybe your best, probably is your best defensive player, one healthy. Danielle Hunter, who, by the way, looks healthy and looks like full strength. And if that's the case, he's going to ball out. When Hunter is healthy, there are very few more productive players at the edge rush position. He only played in like 6 games last year, had 6 sacks. Missed 2020, of course, but 14.5 sacks and 15 tackles for loss, 21 tackles for loss, 2019, 2018. The guy is good for almost a sack per game. That might seem like a lot, a sack per game. It actually is. That is not how the NFL normally works at edge rusher. If you're getting a sack per game, you're an all-pro. And that's kind of what Hunter's pushing on. And he's been making the argument that he wants to, beat Jared Allen's numbers and whatnot. So, how many sacks this year for Danielle Hunter? And I'm going to hope he plays in all 17 regular season games. That's always been a little bit dicey. So, make your predictions. Kudos to anyone who gets it right when we look back at this a year from now or 9 months from now, whatever. How many sacks for Danielle Hunter this year? Sound off in the comment section. One last winner and some losers. Jesse Davis. Now, he missed Friday's practice. It was a quote-unquote scheduled day off for Davis per Kevin O'Connell. Davis has had knee issues in the past. But when he has been out there, Jesse Davis has been working with the starters on the first-team offensive line all 3 days he's been healthy. So I feel confident saying this is going to be your offensive line week 1. Unless Davis gets hurt or something bad happens or one of the young guys, Ed Ingram, really balls out. Darisaw, Cleveland, Bradbury, Davis, O'Neal. Davis is the veteran. He is the one the Vikings organization has been giving the advantage to in terms of the reps with the ones. Chris Reed might be your top backup center guard. Ed Ingram will eventually take over, I hope, on the right side. But short term, seems like Jesse Davis is that guy. All right, time for some camp moves. And this, maybe it's new coaching. I don't know what it is. The Vikings at practice the other day put up this sign, or this video board. It's a little tough to read, but it says this. They asked the Vikings fans to please, read off. Please help our team, not the opponents, and refrain from taking videos of practice. This is Charmin soft. Unbelievable. Do the Vikings organization really think that the Packers are out there combing through videos of, okay, let's see. Wow, they got the ball to Dalvin Cook. What are they? Well, let's see what else happened. This Jefferson guy's awesome. They already know that stuff. And you're not really doing that many of the big-time things that are going to tease you and give away too much in terms of your real playbook in the games. Like, I get that there's always paranoia with coaches, but at the same time, if you ask the Vikings, like, hey, does it matter if the Packers post their highlights? They'll say, oh, no, we don't need that. It's fine. Can't have it both ways, guys. This is soft. And by the way, no one followed it because, of course, they didn't. It's fine. Let them post the highlights. It's not going to matter. And if it does, if allowing, early training camp videos to leak online is the reason why you can't win a football game, that's not on the fans. That's on you as an organization for not being good enough. Come on, guys. Be better. With that in mind, name a training camp loser so far. I'm putting the Vikings, that whole thing, in and of itself. Let's move now to Kellen Mond, the quarterback. Unfortunately, not looking the best so far. He has mostly worked with the third stringers so far, which isn't ideal. But, Sean Mannion's the vet. When he's been out there, shout out Sports Illustrated for some great work on this stuff. hasn't had the best stuff, had a bad snap on Saturday. Also made some nice plays, but just the confidence isn't there yet for Kellen Mond overall. It's still early. Don't panic, but he's not quite there all the way. Finally, and this is someone we've mentioned a lot during OTAs and minicamp on the loser side, it's Wyatt Davis. I mean, you saw the offensive line depth chart, right? Chris Reed's the backup left guard, or right guard if just Davis misses time. He's with the twos. Ed Ingram's with the twos. The starters are Davis and Ezra Cleveland. That leaves Wyatt Davis stuck as a third-string offensive guard, a year removed from being a third-round pick. I don't think he fits the scheme. I don't think he's going to make the team. Now, maybe he gets cut and goes to the practice squad. I think more likely Wyatt Davis should be a trade chip for Minnesota. Third-round pick, you could get something back for him. But making the team, unless there are injuries, the numbers game doesn't sit in his favor as we sit right now early on in camp.